Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Reader's Workshop. Before we get started, let's make sure we are ready to learn. Eyes watching, ears listening, quiet as a mouse, still as a pretzel. Get in a position that's comfortable for you and stay there. Okay, so the last time we met, we learned about helpful kangaroo. We learned that when you come across a word you don't know, you can always ask for help. Sometimes you're going to get the help. We'll just tell you the word, and sometimes we might say something different, but you know that the option to ask for help is always there. So in your toolbox, you now have 8 strategies. That's so huge. You know you can read your sight words fast. You can search the pictures for clues, get your mouth ready to say the first sound, pointer puppy, point underneath each word, tappy penguin, tap out the word, chunky monkey, look for a chunk or a baby word, stretchy snake where you stretch it out and put it back together, and then of course helpful kangaroo we just talked about. Okay, so today we are going to learn about monitoring strategies. What in the heck does that mean, monitoring strategies? Well, we're going to talk about it. So some first graders get the wrong idea that reading is all about unlocking the code and just saying the words. So you're just looking at your page and you're reading and you're just going da 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 da, and you're reading the words. And that's like the point. Blah, 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 blah. No, surprise. Surprise again. I'm full of surprises. Reading is not just about saying words. The point is to understand what you are reading. That's the whole point. Yes, aha, I understand. I get it. So when you're reading a nonfiction book like this little boy is, you want to make sure that you're reading the new information. If he's reading about Mars, he's probably trying to understand the solar system. When you read instructions like this little boy is, you want to make sure you're putting it together right. So if he's reading instructions about how to make this Lego creation, he wants to do it right. The point is to understand it. And then this little boy, when you're reading a recipe, you want to make sure you're making the food right. Of course, right? You don't want your brownies to end up gross, right? That's why you need to get in the habit of making sure you understand what you're reading. You're not just saying words. You're actually understanding them. So when I talk about monitoring strategies, this is what I mean. When you monitor your reading, you're checking in with yourself every so often to make sure you're actually getting it. Okay? And there's 3 different questions you can ask yourself to help you make sure you're understanding it. Okay? Does it look right? Did what I just say match what I see? Does it sound right? You know, like, does it sound like it would if I was talking to somebody? And does it make sense? Like, did what I just say make sense within the story that I'm reading about? So those 3 questions bear repeating because you're going to hear us say it a lot. Does it look right? Does it sound right? Does it make sense? So I think I'm going to give you some examples. Here is an example of a mistake a first grader would make that doesn't look right. Okay, so here is the sentence at the bottom. It says, we dig them. Okay, first grader might say, we dig them up from the ground. Wait, we dig them up from the ground. We dig them up from the ground. That's 7 words. I only see 3 words. Okay, too many words. That doesn't look right. Okay, here's another example. Okay, another first grade. Okay, where the letters don't match what's on the page. So this says you may find a wiggly worm. First grader might look at the picture and go, you may find a wiggly bug. What? Bug? The word bug and worm do not look the same. The letters don't match. Bug would start with a B. Okay? So you're constantly asking yourself, did what I just say look right? Does it match what is on the page? Now let's talk about sounding right. Okay? Does it sound right? Sometimes first graders leave off endings of the word. And we're going to talk a lot more about endings a little later on, but this word is feels, okay? This might be what a first grader might do. The mailbox feel cold today. The mailbox feel cold today. Wait a second. That doesn't sound right. That's not what I would say if I was telling my dad that something feels cold. I'd say the mailbox feels cold today. So if something doesn't sound right, you know you maybe made a mistake, okay? Here's another example, okay? Again, here is one with an ending, okay, that first graders might leave off. My friend go out to play. My friend go out to play. That doesn't sound right. If I was saying it, I would say my friend goes out to play, right? So again, it's like a clue to your ear that if it's not how it sounds like it would when you're saying it out loud, then you've probably made a mistake. All right, now here's a really funny one about when it doesn't make sense. Okay, so this is a story all about airplanes, and I'm just going to read you this page here. Okay. People use here's the mistake that first graders would make. People use airplanes to put out freezers. Okay, you see an F and an R, E, S. It's got all the letters that freezers would have, mostly. Okay. But does that make sense? People use airplanes to put out freezers? No, especially when I'm using my eagle eye and I'm searching in the picture that I see fires, okay? It doesn't match the story, okay? It doesn't make sense, okay? And I think I have one more example. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Okay, so we remember this page, hopefully, from when we read about maple syrup. Here's the sentence I want you to look at, which actually says, sap is the juice in trees. Here's what a first grader might do as a mistake. Sap is the juice in trucks. What? Trucks? That doesn't make sense. I'm not talking about trucks. I'm talking about maple syrup. I know they come from trees. Okay? So if something doesn't make sense, you need to tell yourself, wait a second, that doesn't go there. Okay, something's wrong. Okay. So that is why we always are asking ourselves while we're reading, does it look right? Does it sound right? And does it make sense? Now it is your turn to practice monitoring reading. Get it? Do you get it? See how I put the monitors from the computers? Okay, now it's your turn to monitor reading. You can monitor your reading just like we do. See our 3 questions that we always ask. Does it look right? Does it sound right? Does it make sense? So remember, when you're reading, you should always monitor to make sure you're understanding what you're reading. That's the whole point. Make sure you get it. All right, my friends, I will see you next time. Happy reading.